Hello. Good afternoon. Welcome back to another chilling episode of True Crime Junkiez. I'm your host, Ida, and today we dive deep into a case that took a sinister turn on the highways of Tennessee. But before we dive in, remember to follow us wherever you get your podcasts for our weekly deep dives into the most shocking true crime stories. Imagine a high-speed chase, flashing lights, the roaring engines, and the anticipation of what will be discovered once the chase ends. While authorities in Tennessee didn't have to imagine, because what they found last week left them in shock. As they pursued a vehicle through multiple counties, they were expecting to apprehend a criminal, maybe for a stolen car or for evading the police. But when they finally managed to pull the car over, the discovery was more horrifying than they could have ever imagined. The owner of the vehicle was a 36-year-old Kaitlyn Ashley Lynch. She was found dead in the vehicle she owned, but it wasn't Kaitlyn behind the wheel. Instead, it was her alleged killer, Lance Mason Miller, a 32-year-old man from Abbott, Texas. The story doesn't end with the chase, though. The journey of how Miller and Kaitlyn's path crossed and the events that led up to the fateful highway speed chase begins in Ohio. Miller was later charged with the kidnapping and murder of Kaitlyn. Reports states that Miller was an old friend of Kaitlyn's late husband. She rented out a basement apartment to him temporarily while he was in town. That's where their connection meets. Now, former Irvington on Hudson resident Kaitlyn Ashley Lynch was killed on Friday, August 18th, 2023, at the age of 36 while sitting in her parked car outside of her home in Cincinnati, Ohio, according to the city's police department. On the day of her death, just before midnight, Cincinnati officers responded to Lynch's home and found evidence that suggested there had been a shooting, a possible kidnapping, and they began searching for her vehicle. With the help from Tennessee Highway Patrol and multiple police agencies in Kentucky and Tennessee, Lynch's vehicle was eventually found in Tennessee. Inside the car, officers discovered Lynch's body. The next day, Saturday, August 19th, the 32-year-old Lance Miller was arrested and charged with her murder and kidnapping. Let's go ahead and give you a little bit of background on Kaitlyn, in this case, the victim. She was born in Port Chester in 1987. Lynch's family moved to Irvington when she was still a baby before briefly settling in numerous states such as Illinois, Florida, and Missouri, where she developed a talent for competitive diving. Eventually, the family returned to Irvington, and Lynch finished her schooling there, graduating from Ardsley High School in 2005. Throughout her life, Kaitlyn called her mother her best friend, even after moving to Ohio, where she proudly became a loving wife, a mother. Her time in the state was spent raising her much-loved daughters, Avery and Ryan. To those who knew her, Kaitlyn was known for always helping others and bringing a smile wherever she went. Behind this smile, though, was a sarcastic, sharp wit known for her humor and kindness, according to her obituary. Kaitlyn leaves behind her mother, Lois, her father, Daniel, her siblings, John and McKenna, and her niece and nephews, Theo, Leo, Ellie, and Millie. Now, in the aftermath of Kaitlyn's death, her family is at a complete loss. That would happen to her. According to the family's friends, an Ardsley resident, Crystal Vingo, who organized a GoFundMe fundraiser in order to raise money for Kaitlyn's funeral costs. Luckily, they will not be alone during this mourning period, as hundreds of community members have pulled together to raise nearly $63,000 to cover the costs of bringing Kaitlyn home to Westchester and her funeral expenses. The family also said that in addition to, all the donations they're getting, the remainder will go towards covering Avery's and Ryan's education, which are Kaitlyn's children. Right now, Kaitlyn's family is overwhelmed with emotions. Her friend Bingo wrote on the fundraiser page. The family themselves also released a statement. I quote, "We are in complete disbelief that this has happened to Kaitlyn," the family said, adding, "Anyone who knew Kaitlyn knew how much she loved being a mom to her two beautiful daughters and how she was always willing to lend a hand. She was funny, beautiful, determined, and she will be deeply missed by all." End quote. Now, over the course of the weeks coming, we will piece together the events leading up to the chase, looking into who Lance Mason Miller is, and try to understand this tragic fate of Kaitlyn Lynch. We will share more details as they become available to us, of course, as they uncover more information. If it becomes available, we'll be sharing it on our social media pages, so make sure you follow us on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook. So right now, strap in, dear listeners, as we unravel another twisted tale of crime and mystery. And as always, if you or someone you know have any information regarding this case, we urge you to reach out to authorities, please, and help with details on this case. So this has been another episode of True Crime Junkies. I'm Ida, reminding you to stay safe and stay curious. Until next time. Bye.